Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I titled this video, How to Rise Above After You Lose Your Shit. People ask me all the time, they're like, Tina, you seem so calm. Like, do you ever lose your shit? And I'm like, more than you can know. I lose it all the time. But last weekend, remember I told you I went to a vision board party with my daughters? What I didn't tell you is right before we went to the vision board party, I was in a complete meltdown. Okay, so let me share what happened. The night before, my oldest daughter asked to sleep at her friends. And I said, okay, you can sleep at your friends, but you need to be home by 9 o'clock. We have to leave at 9:30 in the morning. Sure, no problem. My friend's mom's gonna drive me home. I'll be home at 9. Not a problem, mom. Okay, cool. My youngest daughter says, Mom, can I have 4 friends sleep over? I said, listen, you can have your friends sleep over. They need to leave by 9 o'clock. We have plans. You can't stay up all night. Yeah, no problem, mom, no problem. So I'm kind of like having my coffee, taking my time. It's 9 o'clock. The kids are still in my house. My daughter's still out. So I call my daughter. I'm like, are you coming home? She's like, what? Still asleep. I'm like, Maggie, you need to be home. You need to be showered. We need to leave in a half an hour. How are you getting home? I don't know. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, listen, I'm going to be there in 5 minutes. Be ready. My daughter was not ready. I'm still in my pajamas. I go to the door. I knock on the door. I'm like, what the hell? Come on, let's go. So I get home. Then my daughter, Mackie, if you're watching, I'm sorry, honey. I'm telling one on you, but that's okay. She plays Taylor Swift in the shower, and usually we have a 4-song agreement. Like save some water for the fish, okay? You got 4 songs, that's enough time. Now it's like 25 after. I'm like, girls, we gotta leave. Like, come on, let's go. Because if we're late, everybody else is late, right? So they're just kind of taking their time. I am seriously like trying to keep it together. I am trying my hardest to keep it together. So it's 9:40. It's a 17-minute drive, and I still have to go to the bank because I needed money to pay for this, and I didn't go to the bank. So I am just like, is this really happening? I'm stuck in my head about being late, being out of integrity. I am the integrity queen. How can I show up late? All of these thoughts are like creating this great, big, huge reality monster. So finally, my daughter's out of the shower. It's 9:45. I'm like, okay, we are late. Everything's late. Here's your breakfast. Take it to go. Lexi, are you ready? She comes strolling up the stairs in her duck pajamas. She hasn't even brushed her hair, her teeth. She's still wearing her pajamas. At that point, I lost it. I effing lost it. I'm like, what the F? Yes, I dropped an F bomb, you guys. I totally did. I'm like, and I usually don't do that unless I'm like psycho. I'm going crazy. So I said, what the F? You knew we had to do this. I'm going off. I'm ranting. Okay. We finally get in the car at 10 to 10. From the time I got from in the car to the bank, which was 7 minutes away, I'm still yelling. I'm like, I do everything for you guys, everything. I'm taking you to New York. I buy you everything that you want. You kids are spoiled. I'm like going off, like all these incompletions, all these things, all this stuff from the past is now right here in the conversation. I get out of my car, I slam the door. And I tell the girls all the time, don't slam the door, don't slam the door. So I could hear my daughter mocking me, don't slam the door, mom. I'm like, now I'm even more rageful. So I get back in the car. I don't know if you guys can relate to this, if this has ever happened. So I get in the car. I'm like, seriously, you guys, you have no idea how great you have it. You know how many, and then I talk about all the kids in the world that don't have opportunities. I talk about all the vacations I've taken them on, all the times I bought them and took them places, and I'm just dumping. 15 minutes of me dumping. And then this is what happened. My oldest daughter looked at me and she said, Mom, is there anything else? And in that moment, I had this like, She is not taking any of my shit on. She is not being responsible for my feelings. She's not taking it personally. She's creating the space for me to go off on a rant. And then in that moment, I realized, oh my gosh, it looks like it's out there with them. It looks like they were late, they did this, they did that. But really, coming from a place of being 100% responsible, where was the actual breakdown? I don't say no to my kids. So when they said, can I sleep at my friend's house? Can I have friends sleep over? No, we have something going on tomorrow. I would have had them out of bed. I would have had them eating. They would have been showered. Everything would have been fine. That was my breakdown. I said yes when I wanted to say no. And so I started, like, just in that moment, kind of reflecting, okay, I am the source creator of this. I created this scenario. And in that moment, I got to see how powerful transformation is. Even though I was in breakdown, yes, of course, I do a lot of work. I still have breakdowns. We have breakdowns. But the fact that my kids didn't take it on, they didn't take on my feelings, my emotions, they didn't take it personally. Why? Because they also have personal development. And so I said, okay, listen, I just completely went off on a rant. I made you wrong. I judged you. I criticized you. I said all of these things. I was using swear words. Is there anything about that that's like that you want to express? And they're like, yes, I can be responsible for. Now they both took responsibility. And it was just such a beautiful, beautiful conversation, a beautiful interaction. And when we walked into the vision board party, we restored our integrity. You know, guys, sorry, we had an agreement to be here at 10. We're clearly late. Everybody's behind. I acknowledge the impact. And they're like, that's cool. Let's go. Let's get started. And it was like nothing happened. It was gone. It was complete. It was nothing. We got to no thing, nothing. Mom ranted, and that's what happened. And the reason why I share this with you is this is the power of working on your being. It doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you're not going to have breakdowns. It doesn't mean you're not going to lose your shit. It means when you do and you take a step back, you get to be responsible. You know, I like to think that I have a lot of personal development and training. And that doesn't make me immune to stuff. My being, my old ways of being will come up. They don't go away. I don't change. We're not changing. We're shifting, but we have breakdowns. But the breakdowns create powerful breakthroughs because my kids got to practice not taking it on. So let me know what you're hearing in this conversation. Let me see. Hey, Barbara. Because this is actually, just imagine for a second. I don't know where you're at in your relationships with your children, with your spouse. If you have these incidents where you're like exploding, rageful, you're losing your mind, losing your marbles. But what do you do to get that complete? See, because what happens sometimes is we create these open loops. Things like that happen, they don't get resolved, then something else happens, something else happens. It becomes like chains. And when the loops are open, what happens is there's never resolution. There's a feeling of incompleteness. And in that incompleteness, what happens is people hang on to the past. So when something else happens, it's not just what's happening right now, it's the whole other month of things that have been happening that we haven't been communicating. So these are the reasons why we get upset. Okay, I want to give you these 3 reasons. In my situation, in most upsets, we have an expectation. I had an expectation that we were going to leave at 9:30. That didn't happen. I had an expectation that my kids would be showered and have their teeth brushed. That didn't happen. I had an expectation that we would be there on time. That did not happen. So I had all of these expectations. Expectations are premeditated resentment. When it doesn't go our way, how do we feel when we don't live up to those expectations? The second thing is sometimes we have an intention and there's things that happen that like get in the way of that intention. The intention that I had was to leave the house at 9:30. Now, what came in? No showers, right? There's all of these, we have intentions. We want to follow through with those intentions, and life happens. Life totally happens. There are going to be things that come to like kind of interrupt that. And that's okay if you can see it, if you can catch it and be like, oh, okay, I had an intention and it's not working out. And then the other thing is we withhold our communication. So, how many times have I felt something? My kids, maybe where I had the experience of them being ungrateful or being irresponsible or whatever, but I never actually said anything. I never shared, like, this is my experience right now. And so that communication that was held back came into this conversation. And when we can see upsets as just that, intentions, expectations, withheld communication, when we go to work to practice being the person that can deal with interruptions, that can communicate, what happens is there's a freedom, there's an ease, there's a powerful conversation on the other side of that. And when you can practice that way of being, you'll hear me talk about this all the time. It's not the mechanisms, it's the being. Who was I being? I was being a stickler. I was being judgy. I was being resistant. I was being a witch. I was being a witch, right? Coming from a place of love or curiosity. Guys, I'm curious. Like, we knew about this for 2 months. What had you not be ready? Like, what is really there for you? I don't really want to go. I'm kind of nervous. Whatever was there, because of my way of being, I couldn't get to the thing that was under the being late. And what I saw was that they were actually nervous about going and they were kind of resisting. And I'm like, oh, that so makes sense. There's a relationship with the thing. They're like, you're making us go. Oh, yeah, I kind of like voluntold you guys to come, and we didn't communicate that. So, do you see the beauty in being able to practice these things? So, I talk about my 90-day challenge. These are the things that we're discussing, these are the things that are opening up. This is how we create a new you, a new me. It's not that we're broken or we need to be fixed or there's anything wrong. There are just some things that we get to do, that we get to be in order to live our best life, to have more freedom, to have more ease, to have more intimacy, to have more love, to have more success. All these little strategies, all these little nuggets make small hinges swing big doors. Okay, so if you have been watching, if you have a burning desire, if you have a wish that you want to turn into reality, I would encourage you to book a call with me. I have 2 spots available for personal coaching, just 2. I only take 10 on a year. I have 2 that are complete. And other than that, I won't have an opening until the end of February. So if you've been sitting on the fence, if you want to really create a new you, the best version of you, really amplify your being, let's have a conversation. Let me know what you're hearing in this video. Let me know what you're taking away, and let me know what you're going to practice. See, it's a practice. When you get to practice, you get to show up your best version. Eventually what happens is the old goes away and the new steps up. Now, you might lose your shit. You might project and think that it's out there with others. It's not. It's always over here with us. And when we can see it, we can touch it, we can reframe it. And nobody has the power to take away our power. We give it away. We give it away when we are blaming others. And sometimes it's hard to be responsible. And it does really look like it's out there, but it's not. Okay, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you're hearing. Let me know what you're taking away. And I will see you back next week. Okay, sending you love. Bye, everyone. Bye, Barbara.